So right now I'm going to react to a video that is made by a girl who is going to agree with someone that a lot of people who find themselves in the right agree with. So let's get into the video.
Hey guys, my name is Modi,
Hello, how are you?
and you are welcome back to Modi Speaks. So today we're going to be looking at this very important video that was made by Nick Fuentes. Okay,
Okay, so you're going to be looking at a video that was made by a person who the right have basically thrown away as a racist. Even Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro don't want to talk to him.
he was kind of addressing black people or talking about black people in this video.
Well, he talks about black people in every other video, so why wouldn't he in this one?
Now, I am not saying that I go out of my way to watch Nick Fuentes' videos. I don't do that. In fact, I don't even think he is on YouTube. I don't know which platform he is on. But I have to admit that each time I come across any of his videos, I find myself agreeing with 80% or even 90% of what he says.
Damn, 90% is a lot. You sure? I don't even think I agree with myself 90% of the time. 90% with a racist?
I agree with a lot of what he discusses in his videos, and today is no exception. I totally agree with what he had to say about black people in this video we're going to look at right now. So without
Well, this is going to turn out badly. So let us watch exactly what she agrees with. And I want to see her real opinions and see if she's going to be honest about what she believes or just suck up to a certain type of people.
further ado, without wasting much of your time, let's dive right into it.
It's a shame. I really do believe, look, I think black people are not irredeemable, but there just needs to be brutal honesty. It's like, look, these black people are really struggling and they're turning into these maniacs. It seems like they don't do anything right.
Oh, it's this video. I think we've seen this one before.
They're obnoxious, they're rude, they're inconsiderate, aggressive, cruel. And, you know, look, nobody hates black people for being black. If there are people like that, I think that's exceedingly rare.
Okay, I'm going to skip what he is saying and just get straight to when she starts talking.
Nobody else's fault.
And that boils down to what I have been hammering on about us black people, okay? Respect is earned, not demanded.
For anyone who's curious about what he said, I've got another video where I reacted to the entire video of Nick talking. Yeah, so basically she is saying that black people need to respect Nick Fuentes so that we can get his approval. Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
People want to respect you because of how you carry yourself, because of the content of your character, not because you are yelling and shouting and demanding to be respected. That is not how respect goes.
Are you sure? So why in history are some of the biggest loudmouths some of the most respected people in history? How come some of the most arrogant people in the world end up being respected and quiet people get shoved into the corner? If what you're saying is true.
And he made a very realistic point when he said that people don't really despise black people because they are black, because of their skin color.
Actually, they do, and they're called racists, like Nick Fuentes, who admits that he's a racist.
No, rather, they despise black people because of the negativity and the degeneracy associated with black people. In all my life,
Right, and who is making people associate that with black people? Who is responsible for making sure that black people come across like that?
I have never seen videos upon videos of several groups of white people or Asians or even Hispanic twerking on moving cars.
First of all, if you want to see white people twerking on moving cars or trucks or whatever you want, just go Google Southern woman twerking on trucks. It's very easy. Also, how often are you looking for black women twerking in cars that are moving? It's a pretty weird thing to look up.
Fighting in restaurants, I'm talking about large groups of white people or Asian people or even Hispanic people grouped together. Maybe
I used to have a Twitter before Elon Musk took over the company, and before he took over the company, Twitter was kind of an okay place. But then after he took over, I kept getting recommended fight videos, and it was a bunch of white people beating each other up. Large groups, small groups. There's even some dudes who would like lure people into areas pretending to be something. I'm not even gonna say it on here because it's weird. And then they'd go and beat the people up because that's what they want to do. That whole thing is weird. To say that white people don't fight is ridiculous. You're making them come across like they're little kittens, by the way.
counted up to 10 or 11 or even 20 people engaged in brawls, throwing punches, kicking and fighting unabashedly while other people of other races watched and recorded their display.
There's tons of videos you can find on the internet of white people fighting, especially in Europe or any Russia. Pick a place in the world and you can find anybody from there fighting. Unfortunately, because of the cell phone, every single incident of violence is captured, distorting our views of how common it is. In some cases, especially when people are watching, black people have to have the patience of a saint while being disrespected by white people who are trying to fight them.
Oh, Jesus. I did not get paid enough for this. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
It's always disturbing to know that there's stuff like this floating around at all times. This is only one of like 50 that I could have chosen.
I have never seen it in any other race except black people. But you only need to get on.
Please stop. Please stop. Like at this point, it's pretty obvious that you have no intentions of being a good person. This is clear. I don't know if this is a money grab. I don't know what it is. But please, please don't do that. Don't sit here and say that black people are running around doing evil things and white people are running around trying to hug everybody. Don't do that.
On the internet to be bombarded with videos upon videos of this particular incident unfolding with black people as the main characters.
How the hell did we fall this far away from reality? Where does this person come from? What African country does she come from? This is the person representing you guys. Somebody's got to say something. This is the person. When you think your country, this is the person who's going to pop up now.
Now synonymous with negativity, I mean black people. We have quickly become a connotation for anything distasteful, horrible, and disgraceful.
What year were we not considered that? What year were black people associated with positivity? When did that happen? When did white people think, oh yeah, black people, that's the best thing in the world? When did that happen? They've always been looking at us as negative. The fact that you're saying it out loud tells you how common this racism is.
People look at us with wariness, okay? People no longer get surprised by the dysfunction we exhibit on a daily basis.
Yeah, who cares? Like, if they're that scared of black people, that's their problem. They need to get over that real quick. Also, watching a bunch of videos on the internet is not anybody exhibiting anything.
Because they are now used to it and they now associate us with dysfunction. Therefore, they even expect us to be dysfunctional. We go out of our way to prove all sorts of negative stereotypes against us right.
Like the stereotype of the Uncle Ruckus character who's going to sit there and call out black people when they know for a fact that the problem is, you mean like that stereotype of the person who's going to sit there and bend over to white people?
Yet we demand respect. What many black people see as racism from white people or people of other race is simply not racism. Rather, it is a common sense reaction to the situation on ground, to the action we give out to them.
Thank you. Oh, Jesus. I did not get paid enough for this.
gotta understand what type of world we're living in here when there's like women literally calling people who work at a university the N word who've never done anything to them. Again, exhibiting the patience of a saint. And then you're going to sit here and literally downplay you know how many black people there are on the planet? You're literally dumping all over those people. Every single black person on earth. I don't know, for clicks, because you think it's funny.
When a girl says, I don't want a black roommate, or a landlord says, I don't want a black tenant, or a waiter says, I don't like serving black customers or waiting on black people.
What kind of demonic thing is going to come out of her now? There is going to be some. By the way, this is the same person who said in the last video, let's talk about each other with respect. Where's the respect? Where's the respect for your own people, for your own kind? This is what you call a lost sheep, or a lost cow that has left the herd.
That is not racism or white supremacy or whatever you call it. That is just a perfectly normal, natural reaction to negative energy.
So not serving black people and not wanting to live around black people is normal? Are you okay? Like, is there something wrong with you? You do know that there's black people such as myself who live around white people, who live around mixed people, who live around, and nobody has nothing to say about me because I'm a good person.
I know this because the same people who doesn't want black roommates or black tenants or black customers would have no problem having Hispanic, Asian, or even white customers, roommates, or tenants.
So why are you just going to sit here and lie and pretend like these people are going to be as comfortable with any of these other races? You think they're going to be like, oh yeah, Mexicans, I love Mexicans. Like, what are you talking about? Like, these people, they have a problem with all of these races. You know how I know? Go ask them. Go ask Asian people if they've ever been around white people, and ask them if they've never heard anything racist being said to them.
I've had fucking directors call me. Yeah, I had a director call me that once.
Was he also?
He was a white in the 90s.
Drive to the beach. We were almost there at a red light, and there's a guy walking his dog with his kid, and I get a kind of mad dog kind of vibe, like he's staring at me, and our windows are down, and I don't know, I'm always talking really loud to my dad because he's hard of hearing. The light turns green, and he like with like disdain and disgust, he just goes like this. He pulls his eyes back.
He made.
He did the ching.
Face.
Yeah, he did the.
He did that to you and your dad.
And I can sit here and call tough guy from the bus. That guy, I got a thick skin, and maybe because I was with my dad, and I love my dad, and I saw that my dad saw him do that, and I was like, man, like.
So I moved from Sydney to Canberra, and Sydney is very multicultural. And the first week I moved to Canberra, I had like 3 racial comments just on the street. Not necessarily racist, but pointing out the fact that I was Asian.
So why do you think they do it to those people? Why do you think they attack those people as well? Don't you realize it's got everything to do with the race?
etc. Now let me give you an analogy. We know that snakes are very poisonous, but not all snakes are poisonous or venomous, right? Now,
please tell me you're not going to sit here and compare black people to snakes. That's not what we're going to do here. We're not going to sit here and compare black people to snakes, are we?
Now, despite there being a vast majority of non-venomous snakes, we as humans will always see snakes as dangerous and venomous. And for that,
yeah, you're a real demon for that one. Comparing black people to snakes, saying we're venomous. Do you actually think that most encounters with black people are negative? Like, do you live in that world? Do you actually think like that's like a real thing?
we would always prefer not to have them around us. We would always be wary.
Wait a minute now. Who is us? Somebody please tell me who us is, because you're not part of the us that you think you are. And I don't care how many anti-black videos you make, you will always remain black.
Around snakes. Now, we do not despise snakes simply because they are snakes or because they are animals, but because of what they are capable of doing to us as human beings. Their behavior have proven time and time again that they will harm us if given the chance.
So by that logic, white people should not be allowed in any other country except for Europe, since they've harmed almost every other culture in history politically. So we should not engage with them in politics, because any chance they get, they start to harm the countries. Shall I name the ways? The Iraq War, the the several genocides in Africa, the Chinese, how they affect the Chinese governments and all of that, the atom bomb. How many things and how many ways should we give them chances?
Now, there is a reason why nobody has issues with Asians. I mean, how many
Are you kidding me? Have you ever seen videos online about Asian, especially Asian men complaining about racism, and then Asian women complaining about the fetishization of Asian women? Luckily, Asian women aren't betrayers like some people are, and they stick with their own race. But there's a lot of this, oh, Asian men, this. Are you even aware of what's going on the planet?
times have you seen these guys engaged in brawls in McDonald's or other fast foods? How many
First of all, how many Asians are even in America for that to be a common occurrence? I've definitely seen videos of Asian Americans fighting. I've seen them fighting each other. I've seen them fight other people. I've seen them fight black people, white people. I've even seen one who literally said, "This is a no N-word zone" to a black person. So I don't understand what you're talking about.
times have we seen them refusing to hand over their driving license to the patrol officer requesting for them? I mean,
This is just dirty as hell. This video is dirty as hell. Is 4chan just come to like YouTube now? Everybody's just gonna say the lowest thing they can to try and get attention.
these Asians, or how many times have we seen large groups of them twerking on top of parked cars that doesn't even belong to them?
Well, whose car is that? I don't know. Also, yeah, if you go to places where there's large communities of people and they feel comfortable, they're gonna do bad things. Go try it. Go to China and see if they don't do bad things.
Cars parked in their own neighborhood. How many times have we seen them doing this kind of dysfunctional things? What percentage of crimes do they commit in the United States of America? And
While Asians, which includes Pacific Islanders, tend to have a lower rate than other people in America, they still have a crime rate, and it's about 13% of the population, which is actually pretty high if you compare it to a lot of international countries, especially developed countries.
I mean, black people earned all their stereotypes, okay? All their so-called racism. If you ask me, if I wasn't a black person, a lot of people would call
Well, why would we entertain that fantasy of yours of wanting to be some other race outside of black? Which, of course, means in the morning when you look at the mirror, you probably like smash it or something, thinking that it's like some kind of scary monster. Like, what's wrong with you? Literally, everything you're saying is weird.
me racist simply because I am reacting according to the character that black people are feeding me, okay? They are feeding me horrid.
Yep, you're a strange one. First of all, black people don't have a character. People can't have a character. That doesn't even make sense. A character is something that comes from, it's in the word, a character. One person. You can't have a group character. It doesn't make sense. If someone came to me and said, "Oh, I went to India, everyone there is smart," nope, doesn't work. Doesn't work. You can't have the character. You can't have a personality. It's in the word person. Personality.
And disgusting behaviors, okay? And I, in return, am distancing myself from them. I don't want to be associated with them. I don't want to be around them. I mean, the figures. I wouldn't want.
So I was right. You're just doing this to try and distance yourself from black people because you think somehow that's going to turn you white. Let me remind you of something. That will never happen. Candace Owens tried it didn't work. The Brandon Tatum guy tried it didn't work. At the end of the day, you're black, and you're gonna, in a couple of years, you're gonna regret saying the stuff you say now. Especially when you have children and they look back at this and go, why are you saying this about us?
My future kids to mimic their behaviors or follow in their footsteps, okay?
Well, that was a coincidence that I mentioned children and then she mentions children. But again, I forgot one part. If they're raised by her and she puts all this excuse the pun, venom in their children, then obviously they're probably going to have the same opinion as her, and then they're going to be proud of her for being a racist.
Now, if I wasn't black, people would say this is textbook racism, but that is not true. They say action and reaction are equal and opposite. So, this is just me returning the reaction for the action that these black figures have been exhibiting, have been putting out in the society.
So Mother Teresa here wants to set the world straight by again bending over to white people and then literally downplaying everything about being black. You really think that's gonna do any, like, what's your, like, let's try to be as charitable as we possibly could and say, okay, maybe she's got a point. What's her point? What is her point? Like, what does she want? She wants every single black person to stop every other black person from fighting so that she can't see it in a video, even though there's like hundreds of more videos of white people fighting. By the way, that is true. I know some people are probably like, oh, I've seen World Star, whatever. No. There are more videos on the internet of white people doing anything, including fighting, than any other people of any color. And we can't stop if you just watch the black people fighting. By the way, again, one of the reasons I don't have Twitter is because some of the countries that I wanted to go to, if you go on Twitter, they start showing you international stuff and you start seeing like Chinese kids bullying each other. You start seeing Indian kids bullying each other, African kids bullying each other. And then it starts to put a bad taste in your mouth and you're like, nope, it's not. Let me tell you, don't ask black people to stop fighting as much as you just not watching those videos. That's twisting your brain. It's going to make you think that stuff's more common. I promise you, most Chinese kids in China are not getting bullied. If you've watched movies, I remember people always talk about this. There's these teen movies that used to be popular and they made it seem like every single kid in America was getting bullied, which is absolutely not true. But if you go and watch those movies, it's like everybody's getting bullied. Everybody. If you watch too much nonsense, it's going to just get into your brain.
And the same goes for all these non-black people who are being accused of racism. They are not racist. They are just realistic. You can only...
Again, just stop. This is getting ridiculous at this point. Who told you this stuff? I want to know who actually, like, where you got this information from, because you obviously didn't make it up, because you're saying way too many talking points that sound like other people's.
accuse them of racism if the black people are so wonderful, respectful, and law-abiding, yet they are...
See, now that is the impossible standard that's put. You have to be wonderful. What are you talking about? Nobody's wonderful. I've been around white people and nobody's wonderful. There's going to be good ones and there's going to be bad ones, believe it or not. And even the good ones, human beings can only be so good. None of them are like Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
Are being treated like misfits by others. But if these black people are mostly behaving like misfits and then they are being treated like the misfits that they are...
Well, I fully accept that black people are misfits, but who would want to fit into a racist society that's meant to denigrate you as a person? Of course you want to misfit into that society. the whole structure is built off of downplaying a specific race, and almost every other race knows, like, when all else fails, blame the Negroes and also the Jews sometimes.
Then it is not racism, my dears. It is just realism. So, my dear black people, get a grip on yourselves. Bring back your decorum and self-respect, and throw away the ratchetness, figarisms, and ghetto absurdities.
Okay, so what makes this worse is that she's localizing it, making it sound like it's just in America where people hate black people. You know, they hate them in like a lot of European like countries, like Australia, like a lot of these other countries. Well, the racist people do. I'm not saying every single white person, but you know, everybody has a level of racism to them.
Do this before complaining of how racist the society is towards you, because most times it is not really racism, but a simple realistic response that people exhibit due to the content of your own character. So,
You already said that like 100 times, and you're ready now to sail away after doing your little racist rant.
once again, I agree with Nick Fuentes on this one.
Well, that's a big shocker. Why would you agree? Everything you said, by the way, is almost like worse than what he said in the video. It's kind of crazy.
As always, guys, these are just my thoughts and my opinions. Feel free to share yours in the comment section below, but do so respectfully. Also, if I know
Do so respectfully, huh? You don't know the meaning of the word.